Good morning, students. Today we'll be continuing from what we left in the previous chapter. Now, the next topic that we'll be discussing is about forests. Now, as you all know, that forests, they are present all around us, and if you take the example of the Amazon rainforest, you all must have heard about the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest is called as the lung of the planet. Lungs, the lungs through which we respire, the lungs through which we breathe in and breathe out. It is called as the lung of the planet. Now the question is, why is it called as the lung of the planet? The Amazon rainforest produces 20% of the world's oxygen. Now, as you know, that plants take in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen by the process of photosynthesis. Every plant does that. And the oxygen that is produced is taken by us. So that 20% of the whole world's oxygen is produced alone by the Amazon rainforest. And that is why it is called as the lung of the planet. So with this we can understand that why is it or why forests are so important to us. They provide us with oxygen. If forests are not there, we will be deficient in oxygen. Ultimately, we will not survive. So now we'll go through some of the points which will describe what is the importance of forests. The first point is, the forests help us to maintain biodiversity. As you know, when we talk about biodiversity, we are talking about plants, we are talking about animals, we are talking about microorganisms. So if forests are there, then only we can preserve our biodiversity. As you know, forests are a home to plants, to animals, to microorganisms. So forests, they help us to maintain the biodiversity. The second point is, the forests are natural habitats of plants and animals. Habitat, the word habitat means home. So since forests are, I said that forests are natural habitats. As you know, plants and animals, they do not create their home. Their home is the forest. So the forests are the natural habitats of plants and animals. That is the place where they live, created by nature. So if forests are not there, plants and animals will have no place to live, and if they die, they will disturb the food chain. As you know, the food chain is a network, it is a connection between all animals, including us. If the lower animals do not exist, we will not exist after some time. The third point is, as you know, that from the forests, we get many useful products like medicine, like wood, like fuel. People use it for burning and preparing food. People in the villages, they use it as firewood. And it is also used, the dried leaves of forest, they are used as food for animals, dried as well as fresh leaves. So different types of forest products are obtained from the forests. So forests give us many important things that are very necessary for our survival. The next point is, the forests, they help us to maintain the ecological balance. As I just said a few minutes before, that the food chain and the food web should not be disturbed. As you know, from the lower animals, like if you talk about aquatic food chain, if you talk about food chain in water, first you have the small fishes. The small fishes are eaten by the big fishes. The big fishes are eaten by the more big fishes. And finally, the big fishes are hunted by cranes and all. So this is all a connection. They are all a network. If one is disturbed, one dies, one does not live, the others will be affected. So forests, they are helping us to maintain a balance between nature and natural resources. The next point is, the forests, they help us to maintain the climate and rainfall. As you have all studied in the lower classes, that we have a concept called as water cycle. I think last year also we had discussed in the chapter natural resources that there is a concept called as water cycle. What happens in the water cycle? The water from the leaves get evaporated and formation of cloud take place. After that they fall down on us as rain. So if forests are not there, the rainfall will be disturbed, the rainfall pattern will be disturbed. If you cut down forests on a very fast rate, you will see that the rainfall is disturbed. We will not get proper rain. Proper rain is again very important to maintain the water balance on earth. So that is about the this point about climate and rainfall. So basically by using the water cycle, the forests they help us to maintain the rainfall pattern. The next point is the forests they help us to prevent soil erosion. As you know, what is the meaning of soil erosion? With the help of these forests or trees. Now let us take an example. Let me tell you the meaning of soil erosion first. As you know, soil erosion means removal of the top layer of the soil by any means. It may be water, it may be wind, all these are natural agents or external agents. So removal of the top layer of the soil by these agents is called as soil erosion. Now say we have a land that is empty, a land which is empty, which has no trees at all. Say a gush of wind comes or a spray of water comes. What will happen? The top layer will be immediately removed by the wind or the water. But if you have a land where you have lot of trees grown on it, what will happen? The trees hold the soil very tightly. The trees hold the soil very tightly, and so what happens if a gush of wind comes or if a spray of water comes, they will not be able to take away the top layer of the soil because they are held by the roots of the soil. So since they are held by the roots of the soil, so they are much protected. Soil erosion will not take place if proper plantation is done, if proper trees are there. So that means if you have forest, you have less soil erosion. If you cut forests, you have more soil erosion. So basically forests help us to maintain the soil erosion, to prevent soil erosion rather, and if there is no soil erosion by wind or water, there will be no floods also. As I just said, if the trees continue to hold the soil, the top soil is held tightly by the roots of the plant, by the roots of the trees. So in that case, water or wind will not be able to remove the top layer of the soil. So flood will not occur. The next point is the forests they help us to maintain the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance. As I just said, that plants take in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen by the process of photosynthesis. Now we take in oxygen, we take in that oxygen which the plants are giving us, and we exhale out carbon dioxide. So that balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen should be maintained, and that can only be maintained by a tree, by a plant, by a forest. So if you cut down the forests, say if you cut down the trees or if you cut down the forest, there will be nobody, there will be no organism to take our exhaled carbon dioxide. Who will receive our exhaled carbon dioxide? As I just said, we take in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. The exhaled carbon dioxide is taken up by the plants and they again convert it into oxygen. So if you cut down all the trees, if you cut down the forests, there will be no organisms to take our carbon dioxide. So what will happen? The amount of carbon dioxide in nature will be very high. And if the amount of carbon dioxide in nature is high, what will happen? There will be global warming, the atmosphere will become more hot. Already when we are cutting down trees, already when we are doing deforestation, we can see that the temperature is rising every day, day by day it is increasing very much. So if we further don't stop cutting off trees, if we don't stop cutting off forests, in that case what will happen? The carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will go immensely high, and finally there will be global warming. We will not be able to live on this earth due to so much heat. So these are the importance of forests. These are the reasons why we should conserve forests. Now secondly, forests are also called as biodiversity hotspot. These days you are very familiar with the term hotspot. In news and all, you can see that the term hotspot is used very often in all the COVID-19 cases. So hotspot refers to an area where you have a large population of different species. In the television, when they are telling you that this is a hotspot, that means there the coronavirus patients are more. That is about the disease hotspot. But when I am talking about the forest hotspot, it is a good place. It is a place where you have abundant plants, you have variety of animals, you have variety of microorganisms. So therefore they are called as biodiversity hotspot. As you know, biodiversity refers to plants, animals as well as microorganisms. So when these are present in more amount, when they are present in a large variety, they are called as, that region is called as a hotspot. And of course, there cannot be any better place than a forest being a hotspot. So forests are naturally the hotspots of biodiversity.